Now, we're here with SRSR. You just had an opportunity to perform here at Indie Thursday. How'd it feel?
Yes, I did. I love this place. It's a great place to work out.
Now, you're really killing it out there on the guitar. Where did you get this? Where did you learn this? A family thing, or you pick it up in high school?
Actually, weird thing is, I don't know my grandfather from my father's side, right? But his name is Carlos Rivera, and he was a fairly famous musician in Puerto Rico, but I've never met him. So I have all these talents from a relative that I've never met, and it's kind of...
So you have a lot of talents from a relative you've never met. I have a lot of flaws from relatives that I've met and lived with. So I'll take your situation anytime. So that's really cool. How much do you think that culture influences your sound?
You know, unfortunately, since I didn't know that side of my family as much as I would have liked to, it doesn't influence it as much as people would think, being my last name's Rivera. But I definitely have always loved Latin percussion, just organically, naturally. I've always loved it. So I do add it into songs frequently. So 1 out of 3 of my songs has some sort of Latin influence in it somewhere. So
what would you say then would be your major influence for your sound today? Because the Latin influence, of course, is kind of side. It's not really in your face. What kind of sound would you compare yourself to?
Well, actually,
if you had to, you're unique, you're individual. I'm not saying you're not. But if someone was going to put it into a mix on their iPod.
Right. If I were to put it into a genre, actually, I usually call it pop rock, but there's more natural, it's more natural than that. So I made up a genre. It's called Perpo, performance pop. So it's like pop, but it's made for performing. So
it's not auto-tuned. It's not demo track.
Studio, right.
Now that's great. You've opened up another can of worms there. How important is that for you as an independent artist to stay true to that, to the real sound?
I try not to handicap myself to a specific genre, but it gives me like a perfect opportunity to play the catchy stuff I like to play, but also add all the elements of real music and real instruments into it. Since I play all the instruments, it's like just a field day for me when I'm recording. It's more broad, so I don't have to really stick to something. It's more of a broad... It's what I do, just naturally, you know what I mean?
I think that's probably one of the best things about an indie artist is you don't have anyone who's telling you what you have to look like, what you have to act like. Right, which is funny because it's like, you don't want that. You like where you are now, but when someone says, here's $2.7 million, you might be like, oh, okay, a little more drums, sure.
Double-edged sword, right,
yeah,
exactly.
So what would you like to say to your fans to close this out?
Well, I'd like to say I'm playing here next week, 2-hour special if anyone's in the LA area, and I'd like to say hello to my boys and girls back in Connecticut and my family.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for coming out to Indie Thursday today, and we really enjoyed having you. Pleasure.